And one of the kind of key principles is to kind of keep engaging and gathering feedback with people. We've got a positioning paper, and when you kind of, if you've not already had a look at it, I'm just assuming that everybody has, absolutely, read it cover to cover, know it word for word, for sure. But just in case you don't, is that it's got 4 broad sections to it, which is the same, but very similar to other hub positioning papers as well. And the structure is that the first part is very much about kind of the context, what's happening in our cities at the moment, what is it that we kind of see in terms of the trends, and actually then how does that translate into the challenges that those cities and city systems present. And then the third part of the paper is about how do we take those challenges and then transition towards a well-visioned and kind of, I suppose, clear end point. I say there's never an end point in terms of obviously where we need to be with cities, but a future vision state, and then a transition that we kind of need to undertake to move towards that. So the paper kind of broadly talks about kind of 4 different sections: from context to challenges, to transitions, to visioning. And then within each of those sections, which we will dive a little bit deeper into during the breakout rooms, is that each of those 4 sections very neatly kind of have 4 themes and 4 kind of broad topics to unpack together. And what I mean by that, just to show you as an example, if I zoom in here on the little context, which gives you obviously kind of the positioning of where the trends are with cities or what's happening in cities. We've got things around the role of information technology, globalization, urbanization, and sustainability and climate change. And then what you tend to find as you move through the paper is that very neatly, the first context, for example, the role of IT, when you move into the next section around challenges, is that it starts talking about smart cities and actually the application of that role of IT. Obviously, nothing kind of sits in a silo, so it doesn't go kind of very neatly from IT to smart city into transition and visioning. But it does have kind of this it tends to have a little bit of a trend through each of those strands. But like I said, it's all kind of interwoven, and it's all kind of there's no silos there. Is that they also kind of talk to each other, and you'll see kind of common themes as you kind of read through the paper that you might start to recognize in your own work. And we want to unpack some of that with you this evening. And during the exercise, you'll have a host in each of the rooms. So there'll be myself in one, Pavisha in another, Joss in a third, and Yasmin in a fourth. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of take you through or try to provoke kind of conversation through some queries that we've come up with. And you'll spend time on each of those context, challenges, transitions, and visioning, and just kind of have a conversation around each of those 4 areas. And the idea that what we'll do as hosts is kind of capture some of the key points that people are talking about and be able to kind of catch some of those, and then we'll feed them back at the end. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. If anybody kind of says they've not read the paper, don't worry about it. You don't need to kind of be an expert on it whatsoever. Is that it's more about just having a conversation around these core themes that hopefully we can all recognize and identify. So what I'm going to do is hand over to Joss to hopefully be able to split us up into our breakout rooms. And then you'll see a host. So there'll be one in each room, and they'll be able to kind of kickstart the next 50 minutes with you. So we've got 50 minutes for this activity, which should take us up to about 6:10 UK time, or just 10 past the next hour, wherever you are. I'll see you when hope it's given you a little bit of a flavor in terms of the potential kind of scope of the hub and what it is that we do together. We, I don't know what it's like for other groups, but we tended to kind of just unpack certain themes and revisit, and everything kind of interconnected and looped in. So in terms of our diagram, we're kind of got things dotted all over the place, but they all kind of interconnect. So hopefully what we've got is we've got 4 groups, each with a nominated individual or somebody that we can nominate to kind of come back with some core themes. I was going to say, do you want to start with group 1? Has everybody else got theirs? Actually, I was going to say we start with group 1, but they're not quite pulled all our 5 together. But I can grab ones and pull them across based on our conversation. However, Yasmin, being the super duper admin person that she is, and she's much more organized than me, she's already started pulling things across. I can see. So Yasmin, were you in group 3 or were you in group 4?
I was in group 4, but yeah, I'm putting the things on the group 4 part here now.
Fab. Do you want to go for it? I'm going to go grab our post-it notes, drag them in, and I'm going to ask Anya to prepare. So I give Anya a chance to read them through and then prepare. Did you want to kickstart us, Yasmin? Do you want to go for?
Yeah, we can start, definitely. So we are, well, some things change here. So we are group 4, but maybe I'm putting the stickies here on the part of the group 3. And we have Ozer to be our representative. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yasmin. We sort of defined or identified 5 topics that we've, and you're moving, no, you're just taking a copy, right?
Oh, apologies.
I'm looking at it right now, so it's okay. You have it there, right? Affordability is one thing that was at least for me, is an important issue that sometimes we tend to forget when we're talking about cities and climate changes and the effect it does have, because that's also an issue, because cities are becoming much more and more expensive. It is difficult for people to live there, so we need to have this in mind in all the time. One of I think it was Emanuela, you also spoke about people participation. It's important to have people involved, but we also need to identify a solution to how to get across not always having the usual suspects involved. How can we get somebody else involved as well? We spoke also about remembering, when we're talking about involving different types of stakeholders, also to think of the role of nature, to involve that and consider nature as a stakeholder, also to get nature involved. And then Ricardo, you were mentioning the shared agenda or the consensus approach. I may call it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was sort of identify a common ground, that something we all can identify or can agree upon being important for solving some of our challenges. So you had, I don't know the specific approach, but you can elaborate a bit. Just when I have presented the 5th point, is that seeing cities, we were talking a lot about the local places and the importance of the local contents and the districts as perhaps an important entity to look at, but also to see cities as communities and to sort of put weight on the feeling of community, which is an important aspect of cities. So please add the rest of the group.
Yeah, no, just briefly about like this shared agenda concept. Like, yeah, the idea is like how to go from like a theoretical point of view to a more pragmatic one, and like having all these different points of view. So the idea is like starting being like a common, a shared vision of the current situation. So how we agree on what are the challenges, the opportunities, based on that, like try to define a long-term share vision. And based on that, like from where we are to where we want to go, like be like a share agenda or a roadmap to reach that point. So it's a way that then future stakeholders can join, and if they agree on the vision, on the current situation, so there is a way later to add more stakeholders that they can easily like agree on this kind of agenda. So it was just something that it's happening here in Catalonia, on how to like to develop some like innovation projects. So I think it's an interesting approach to address complexity and try to define step by step how things might change.
Fab. And there's going to be potentially some things that definitely resonate with our conversation for sure. So how about this group over here? So were you looking at group 2? Sorry, apologies, I was zoning in on group 4. So were you guys group 3, right?
We were group 4, but we put the ideas here because it was group 4 there. So
okay, no worries. We've got two group 3s. It's fine. It's all right. We'll roll with it. That's fine. I was like looking at this and going, I'm sure what they're saying definitely maps into this, but there's definitely some crossover for sure. So who was this group?
Yeah, I can start, and feel free to add the others who were in the group. Some things have been mentioned already. The governance issue especially was one thing we started and dive deeper in the discussion. And yeah, now I'm having to look for the stick list and try to read it. Exactly. So we mainly we thought that it's important to talk about different kinds of governing models and governing modes, and how to bring the different actors in the city together. Because of course we have city administration, city politics as key stakeholders, but it's in the end about also bringing citizens and how to engage with different third sector, academia, the business, and to make more democratic decisions also at the neighborhood level. That was something we were discussing. So bringing together the right actors in the right way at the right time, offering them tools and formats and ways of taking decisions, and of really engaging and coming to more democratic kind of systemic consensing formats and finding the consensus. It's always a negotiation. A city is always coming at a negotiation of different actors. And then also perhaps one thing that we need to understand is how to break certain power structures in the city, or who owns the city has a lot to do with land. This was something we did not so much discuss. So there is also here a need for less bureaucracy, more space for citizens to be asked what are the challenges. So had a lot to do with this issue I mentioned already. Building the system, so getting people out of their bubbles and trying to engage in these discussions beyond what you think is your common ground, and trying to understand, what are the challenges that perhaps other people see in the city. And perhaps one thing that we discussed about technology a bit is that, and I would say this is a bit my opinion also, technology is an enabler. It's not the solution per se, but it has to be used carefully, and has to be also thought in this governance aspects of who owns data and who is using the data and what for. So all these issues need to be very, I think, thought very thoughtfully in the city. And also one needs to have in mind that digital solutions also come with an ecological footprint, just to also they have mentioned that. And you always have to see, okay, what kind of divides and what kind of participation does that allow, and who do you leave behind, perhaps also if you only look on technological solutions for certain aspects. And I think I'll leave at that. And perhaps if my group mates would want to add something or correct me in something, feel free.
you did such a good job. People already started to vote on what you said. So, so there, it's like, yeah, we definitely need to talk about that. No, thank you so much. I think there's definitely obviously some commonality. Maybe there's some things which we've already spotted across the two groups.
Yeah. Maybe we want to let people know about the voting, Carl. We just have 4 minutes left.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. So, as you probably may have seen, is that kind of different groups kind of got their kind of main points already put down onto the central board. And what we'll do from this is kind of group some of the things together as kind of core takeaways. There's going to be some common themes. Citizenship and democracy is obviously going to be kind of a thing for us to unpack together, I'm sure. As Joss says, there is probably kind of we're reaching towards the end anyway. So what I would like to invite people to do is to just have a quick scan through the post-it notes across the 4 groups, including group 1 and 2 as well, just in case there's anything different there. Have a quick read. And then if it's a particular idea or theme or topic that you think, yes, we should definitely kind of zone in on that as a hub, or there might be 2 things that you really wanted to kind of zone in on, then grab one of the red dots and put one next to that particular post-it note. And that just gives us a little bit of a steer in terms of what we might prioritize or what we might kind of see as a core theme for exploration within the community.
Am I the only one who's unable to grab these dots?
Oh, possibly, but if you can't, just you tell me which one you want me to put it on, and I'll put it on there for you.
No, let me try it again.
I'm having a very hard time also.
Have we talked through a little bit what group 1, Carl? What's on the stickies there, or group 2?
Yeah, I'm not sure we've got time for group feedback if we're still aiming to finish it at 12:30, because we still need to kind of get some feedback and just let everybody know what next. So what I will also suggest is after the session today, I'll share the Miro board for the next few days so that people can still revisit and vote if you still want to. Because we're due to meet up next week to kind of debrief and pull all this information together. So there's still time for people to vote if they're struggling to do this right now. And then you'll be able to take a quick look through group 1 and group 2. If there's anything that doesn't make sense, hopefully you're all on the SRI Cities Hub, so you can always ask questions there as well. If there's anything that you're not sure about or want some clarity around, then we'll certainly do that. But it has been, well, thank you so much, Group 1. I have absolutely loved having a chat with you all. And what I will do is I will hand over to Avisha just to go through the last bits with you.
Thank you, Carl. So yeah, we would really love to hear your thoughts on what kind of events you want to see more from us, or what kind of topics that you think we should really be discussing. So feel free to grab a sticky now or later and put up your thoughts on the kind of topics, the kind of events. So do you want more workshops? Do you want more case studies? Or do you want more interview sort of panel discussions? And yeah, we'll keep on working on that. And then you can find us on our LinkedIn, and we have the hub as well. You can find them over here. And if you want to get involved with us, you can join, as some of you already are, as members, and you can contribute in the hub part of the website that we have that is dedicated to cities. We can become partners, and you can co-host events with us, or just share ideas that you have, and we can get working on those. And then right now it's me and Carl in the main team. You can join us both or be a part of the extended team and help us steer the direction in which we should develop our hub, or just be a part of the extended team where you can help us in developing the direction, or you can help us in narrowing down or connecting us with important people that you think we should really talk to. And if you could just give us a feedback on today's session, that would be really helpful. And the last bit, we have a section over here where if anybody wants to share any resources that we should look at, that will be really helpful. And we will make sure that we share the resources with everybody. So I know we are a minute above the time that we decided on. So thank you everyone for joining us today, giving in your energy to this. I really had a lovely time discussing this with everybody in my room, as well as everybody in this main room as well. So thank you so much, and have a really nice day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.